Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Multi-Character Listener by me. So let's get into it. Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya has been called many things in his life, and many insulting names. Things that hurt him and stuck with him through the years. So of course, he would not wish that experience on anyone, especially not on you. He loved you. He would never want to make you feel horrible, not in the same way that he felt. And that's why him calling you useless is such a stark difference to the Midoriya that you know. It shocks you, but then the hurt settles in, and before you know it, he just collapses. You have no idea what's going on. But then, after a couple hours, he gains his consciousness back. And you mostly forget about the comment, or at least it stays in the back of your head, until he regains his consciousness again. But the thing about this is, he tells you that he was hit by a quirk, and that's why he was being so mean. And when he's hurt enough people, he would pass out and be back to normal again. That's what the villain's quirk was. And honestly, it sounded quite weird, but you believed him, because he did apologize a lot. He almost teared up doing so, hugging you tightly, holding you in his arms and telling you in 100 different ways how you could never be useless to him, how he loved you more than life itself, how you were the entire world, the sun, moon, and stars. He was honestly adorable, and the way he did it over you, it told you that every word he said about that villain and his quirk had to be completely true, because there is no other way the events would line up so well. Not to mention, you know Midoriya like you know the back of your hand, and you know he would never tell you something like this, and so unprompted too. So you give him a kiss on the cheek and tell him it's just fine, and you will forget about the incident entirely, except for how adorable he was when he was feeling all guilty over it. Todoroki Shoto. Todoroki was very kind to you. He always was. He always managed to make you feel at peace, and to say the encouraging words you needed at the right perfect times, no matter when. And if anything, Todoroki was determined to be one thing in particular, to be different from his father, to be a better person, to be someone who's worth loving in the end, to be someone that you can call yours and that you can feel safe with. That's who he wanted to be most, and that's how he wanted to live. But it seems as though life was not so easy, and things they were quite complicated, because he had no idea why an argument would escalate so fast, and why he would say something so demeaning, yet so hurtful. It felt like the sting of a needle, so fast and so fleeting. He didn't realize the thought had even crossed his head before it went out of his lips, and then he had said those words and seen the consequences himself. The hurt that flashed before your face, the way you were near tears at his words, and before he could even stop you or tell you another thing, you had stormed off. It was fair. Of course it was. He could never judge you for it. But it still hurt him. Of course he didn't blame you. He had hurt you far worse with his words and what he had said. But it hurt him how you could never actually do things right. How he felt like he may as well have ruined the one thing that he's got going for him. The love that you had. Was it truly ruined forever? He hoped not, and he will try to apologize, to make up for what he has done, and try to be better for you, because he knows deep down that you deserve so much better. And although he may not be able to give you that with ease, he will do his very best to try to get you something that's close as what you deserve. Bakugou Katsuki. Now, Katsuki could be very, very harsh, but even that harshness did not mean that he didn't know what could be said and what could be not. He knew some things were off limits, and for good reason. Some things were not meant to be said, and some things are better left unspoken. Like maybe his anger, and the way he tended to get it out on people who were most undeserving of it. He had no idea what was going on through his head, and why he had just decided to go into your room when he knew he was angry, and when he knew he had such poor control of his own emotions, and mostly of his tongue. He should have kept those words inside his head, because if anything, they were all wrong, and yet he didn't know if he would believe him. Because right now, he had made a mistake, one that he cannot quite go back from, no matter how much he tries to erase it, and how much he tries to make you forget and forgive him. But it was done. He had called you useless, telling you that you were so annoying, so clingy, so useless, and always bugging him. That you were the only real reason that he was lagging behind. That's how useless you were. Just something that was keeping him away from his goals. And for that, he snapped at him, even tough on him, for a good reason. Because he was left speechless. The way you were telling him he's such a hypocrite. The way you were telling him that you could never be a comforting hero no matter how much he tries. If this is how he talks with his lover, whenever he gets a temper tantrum, like a toddler. He was standing there very still, staring at you, realizing his mistakes, and trying to take a deep breath because he knew he had messed up. He'd messed up real bad. But what could he do about it? He just looked at you, nodded, looked back to the ground, and hoped that somewhere in your heart you would have it to forgive him, because he felt very guilty about what he said. And right now was certainly not the time for apology. He just let you go, rest away for a couple of days, until he had made an attempt at an apology, and you told him if he was not actively working to better himself, you would not get back with him. So, he can tell you and try again, once he's actually got something going. And he honestly thought that you were right, and that's why he was looking for therapy or something to manage his anger, and he will get back to you about it.